Well, the way how systems impose this value on things that convince the masses. That's the truth, you know. We're trapped into this thing, you know. We can't get out of it, but we should get out of it somehow, you know, to free this society out of these big people up there. They can control everything, you know. In the ancient times, you know, the constellations, the priests and stuff saw their way of controlling people into, let's say, about their behavior or something. But nowadays, yeah, later on, what this society, this government is trying to do is to create more workers and create these mindless people that work in factories and do all that stuff. You know. And now we have problems because they took all the factories to China. So this is service industry. So everybody working in Starbucks or something, I don't know. But they got rid of the factories. But the thing is that society, high leaders have used some of this stuff to control people in a way. You know. After talking about Ophiuchus, this one is a very interesting constellation from the western side, you know, because the place where this thing is located is amazing. I don't know if you know, but what is that? Interesting. Okay, right here, around here somewhere, then the division between Ophiuchus and Sagittarius, the division point between these two constellations, is the center of the galaxy. It's the black hole of this whole galaxy is right there. So it's interesting how they eliminated that big constellation that is the point of division where the center, the very center of the whole galaxy is. I think it's called, I don't know, Cygnus something, I don't know what they call it. That is the center of the whole galaxy. And nowadays what they do is they got Scorpion here and they mash everything into Scorpion. So the Scorpion got a bigger amount of space. The Scorpion look big because they got the pincer and the tail and all that, but all these constellations were created looking in the ecliptic. I don't know if you know what ecliptic is, but ecliptic is the roadway where all the planets and the sun and the moon rode, right? They don't go anywhere outside that. So it's like the center of the sphere, and that's the roadway for the moon, the sun. If you ever see the moon or the sun outside of that, something will happen to the whole planet. You know, it's like a big disaster happening. All the planets have to be in that same line, same road. And you know, this thing is sitting right there, so all the planets go through here, more or less around here, in the center. They don't go on the top, but some of them do, as asteroids. Most of the planets, they go here. So all the constellations are in that plane of. So what happened is that Scorpio, it's got the little pincers there, and it's got the eyes or whatever, his heart, and then it was his body here, and then the tail end comes down here, you know. So the things, oh, I got legs too. How can it walk? So the planets and moon and everything just go through here, through the pincers only. And then it gets into here. So, but they took out this guy, so they assumed that, well, you know, it's all Scorpion now. The Scorpion is another very interesting constellation because many different cultures around the planet saw the same thing. Pretty much it's the only constellation that was very popular with cultures that they don't talk to each other. So the Chinese and other people, everybody was seeing a Scorpion there. Everything else changed, but the Scorpion was standard, you know. So that's kind of an interesting constellation, you know, because so everybody saw Scorpions here, even though Scorpions are only found down in the southern latitudes, you don't find them too high up north. But since the Greeks, I think they had them there or something, in that area of the Mediterranean. I'm not sure, but probably Scorpions are very worldwide travelers, so they can find them almost anywhere around the equator and around closer to where it's warm. Here in the U.S., I find out there is Scorpions in South Missouri. There is scorpions there, but they don't come all the way up here, so nobody has seen a scorpion here. Okay. So it depends on how cold it is, I guess. They're ancient animals. I don't know. They probably were there with the dinosaurs, surviving and stuff. They were bigger in those days, I guess. So, but going back to the constellation, the planets, for example, they came later. First were the constellations. Everybody created these creatures up in the sky. And the planets came later because these required a more kind of a very focused looking at the sky. Because the planets are like little dots that move a little bit, but they move a little bit every day, so they're so tiny movements that you really need more of scientific kind of approach to find planets. So the planets were, some of them you can see like Jupiter and stuff, but even those, they move kind of slow. So later on, the astrologers start to adapt these planets into their analysis or charts or whatever. When we got to the Mayan, when they saw the sky, they developed a more amazing way of finding constellations. Because what they did was they divided the sky according to the philosophy and math. So they divided the sky into 13 days batches of space. So they assigned creatures in 13 days. By 13 days, I mean the time it takes the sun to move 13 days in the sky, that space was assigned a constellation. So, the sun takes 13 days to go through here, through the pincers of the scorpion about here. And then it takes 13 days to go through Ophiuchus, and then it takes 13 days to go through Sagittarius, and then 13 days to go through the space that is between Sagittarius and Capricorn. So the Maya kind of measured the sky, and they were talking about thousands of years ago. So that's a better approach. The Western astrology, if they managed to divide the sky into more equal sections, it'll give you a better result because it's more math, more reliable than making a little goat and then this big other thing. It's not scientific, So everything has to have a way to count things, numbers, to make sure that you can apply that to other things. So the Maya, for example, you got Virgo. Oh, if I can show some of these ones here. This is kind of small, but this is Virgo here. So what they did is the legs of the Virgin, the sun stayed 13 days in the legs of the Virgin. So the legs of the Virgin is a mouth of an alligator. The two legs opening is the two jaws of the alligator. And then it tilts up to Arcturus. So those 13 days, they counted like this, the alligator constellation. And then the belly of the Virgo is a rabbit. The rabbit is diving down from the top of the Milky Way. So that's 13 days become a rabbit, and that's what the Spica, which is the more important, started. Virgo, if you ever look at those kind of things. And then the head of the Virgin is an eagle that is diving down from the Milky Way. So they assign all these animals and things for reasons that we don't understand exactly why they assign these animals. The people, they start giving conditions, attributes to those parts of the sky. And for them, if you were born there, then you have those forces. And that was combined with the calendar. It's amazingly, the paper calendar is tied up very closely with this. I find out that myself, about 5-6 years ago. This was not found by anybody, but it's not that I found it. They tell me. I get dreams and stuff they tell me, Because all these constellations have been lost. I don't know if you know, but the Maya, when the Europeans came, they had libraries with books with the knowledge of thousands of years. And they actually have a written language that is just the same like Spanish or English. And they have managed to compile libraries from 3,000 years of books, But when the Spanish came, they burned all the books. So all that knowledge, where this stuff come from, or where the ideas were when it's smoke, because they wanted to convert them into Catholics, and if this stuff exists, then this is too strong for them. So they forbid them to speak their language, to write their language, and not to write the calendar ever again. Whoever got caught writing the calendar was hanged or burned like a witch or something. And so what is saved of the calendar is kind of like a shadow of what the calendar really was. And that's what the people in Guatemala and Mexico still have been doing for generations, and they're hidden. Just a little bit of the calendar, but they don't know the constellations at all. All this stuff, knowledge got lost. So it was revealed to me about, I think it was 2016 or 2017, which a lot of people, astronomers, friends of mine, they tell, Gina, you gotta find those Mayan constellations. I go, so many stars out there, where do I begin, But in a dream, they kind of told me, look at the sky now. It was a special day. And I look and, oh my God, I saw the first, the most beautiful of the constellations, but it's this one, Kawak. This one is a beautiful constellation. Because for me, from the Mayans, it's the more, the more accurate thing that you could draw. For me, it's the more beautiful constellation. This one is located after Sagittarius, and the way that you see it here, I wish I would have brought that sky view or something. Because you can see exactly all this stuff that is here is in the sky. And that was the basis for me to start plotting all these constellations. Some of them I found that in the only book that got saved, the Dresden Codex. One of the books in Spanish, that one of the priests kind of hidden under his clothing and said, maybe we should save some to see what these books are about. It's all evil. But this guy saved it, and that's the only book from the Mayans survived, called the Dresden Codex, and it has some constellations in it. They don't know there are constellations, that I kind of spot them and apply them to the line of drawings, And it's what the Dresden Codex was. Now the scientists have started to crack to the hieroglyphs. Is a guide for astronomers how to find Venus in the sky. If this is the only book that got saved out of those, it's calculated they burned something like 400,000, 300,000 books. If this is one of the sample of what got burned, you just can imagine the problems that we have now probably wouldn't be happening. Because the people had this ancient knowledge. So we could have just, I would be out of a job, because, all this stuff would be there. I don't have to teach anything. It's all plain in the books, Read the book, But because of what they did, now we got people that is like me to try